Thank you both.
Thank you, Senator Moran. Senator Tester.
We'll just kind of keep going where Senator Moran left off. So you got to educate me, folks. How big of an issue is the overbuilding issue as it applies to using federal dollars? And if there's no broadband that's laid without using federal dollars, let me know that too, okay? So how big of an issue are we talking about here?
I can tell you that I don't know the quantity of it. I know from the anecdotal evidence study I cited in my testimony, and then just the people I've talked with, that a lot of the specific grants went to overbuilding.
Okay.
But I don't know how big that is in general.
But when these people apply for their grants, are they applying with the idea that they're going to overbuild, or are they selling it that this is going into an area that has no service?
My recollection from the people I've talked with is they were not advertising the fact that they were going to overbuild. And maybe before they got the grant, that was their intent. But once they understood the economics of the business, they went in where the services already were.
Which, it goes back to what I think Senator Moran was saying, and you guys are saying that if we use money for overbuilders, money's hard to come by to begin with. So, and I've heard 3 programs talked about today: Connect America, USDA, USF. Are there any other federal programs out there used to lay broadband? Or, as one of you said, sustain broadband?
Senator, there are, I'll say, subparts of each of those programs.
But those are the
little
3.
fingers, those are the 3 primary.
And they don't talk to one another?
I don't know that it's fair to characterize it as don't talk to each other. I would more characterize it perhaps they don't talk enough.
Let me ask it this way. Because you guys are familiar with applications to all 3, correct? So when you fill out an application, Mr. Law, to any of those, do they ask you about the other programs?
The specific application perspective from our side would be as it relates to our U.S. and our U.S. loan funds. And in terms of asking us about other federal funds, not specifically. However, they do very clearly ask about, I'll say, what broadband is available there today, and we have to answer that as part of our application.
Okay. So if we're going to solve this problem, is coordination between the programs the key? In other words, have them talk to one another, or what is the key here? What is a committee? This committee, what can it do to stop the overbuild? Because it's ridiculous. Anyway, go ahead. Just tell me. Tell me what we should be doing.
Yeah. I would formalize the coordination. It's good for the staffs to talk with each other, but if there's no formal coordination, then there will be gaps or there will be overlaps.
Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead.
I would concur with that.
Okay. Okay, so let me go in a completely different direction. Generally speaking, it's the smaller providers in my home state of Montana, which is where I'm from. It's the smaller providers that really provide, they have a stronger obligation interest. That's nothing against the big guys. But the fact is, we're talking frontier America here, okay? There are some of these rural exchanges, and I don't think it's a bunch, but there's some, maybe more than I think, that are currently owned by large price cap carriers that, quite frankly, don't have the same commitment to service as some of the smaller carriers. We'll be kind. Is there something we can do to encourage them to do a better job? Or is there something we could do to encourage them to sell those exchanges to somebody who really gives a damn about them? Talk to me.
I'll start, Senator, as a resident of Wall, South Dakota, population 700. Those towns that
And
you
the
speak
home
of.
of Wall Drug.
Thank you very much. Senator Fisher, I know Senator Moran has also commented on his fondness for Wall Drug, so I appreciate that. As a resident of a small community who works for a company that serves a lot of those small communities, they are also very near and dear, I'll say, not only to my individual heart, but our organization's heart. And yes, there are instances of, I'll say, adjacent exchanges where service is not at a level that would be acceptable in our environment.
Correct.
In terms of tools that I believe Congress has to effectively do that, quite honestly, Senator, I think the best one you have available is the bully pulpit, and I'm not sure what else there would be.
Okay, all right. Well, just one other question for you, Mr. Law, and you don't have to tell me. You can say, no, I'm not going to answer this question, but what is the average price that a railroad charges you per mile to lay line?
That is all over the board, but we have seen application permit fees and other fees that go in excess of $10,000 per crossing.
Per crossing.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.